Hello everyone, this is Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So I haven't did this in a while, but yeah, this is pretty necessary. Paul Ryan, come on down. You are the next contestant. So when Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, he's known around Washington as the idiot smart guy, the imbecile's genius. He's essentially the king geek in a village of useful idiots. That's Paul Ryan's role. When he's not in a bathroom, sniffing money and touching himself, he can be found servicing as a courtier, as a working girl, a bit of a prostitute for his wealthy donors, who's paying him to put out a perspective to the American public. So in an interview with Jake Tapper from CNN, they were having this conversation about healthcare, specifically contraception coverage, because it's covered under Obama. So Ryan is kind of going back and forth about it, and he comes to the point. He says, and if our biology allowed for a safe way to have intercourse, if we were meant to have intercourse completely naturally and not get pregnant because of it, then God would have included something about it in one of his holy books. Now, I haven't found anything on the subject, and not for lack of looking, Jake. Have you, perhaps? Why are we talking about your imaginary God? We're actually talking about healthcare. Real stuff, like science and all. Why are we talking about your God and your Dr. Seuss book of mysteries? Look, I made the point before, this is not a theocracy. This is not going to be a theocracy. And by the way, you're not fooling me. You're not fooling me. You use religion in the same way that Obama uses blackness or Hillary uses her vagina. It is a shtick. It's a prop. It's a prop. You're like the guy from Jackass. I think it was Steve or somebody, who put those race cars in his ass. He didn't put those race cars in his ass because he thought that was an awesome thing to do. He was doing it for an agenda. He wanted people to look. He was trying to get the audience, ratings. He was trying to garner interest. You're the same way, dude. That's just an honest living. Yours, however, is trying to find creative and clever solutions to get people to vote against their own economic self-interest by pretending to have some relationship with some imaginary being. Theirs is just honest. Yours is just sleazy. The lies exposed just by the contradictions. I mean, the contradictions alone, you're massive inconsistency. So, super capitalist Ayn Rand, and famous atheist, she wrote those disgusting books, or those ridiculous books on essentially justification for uber wealth at the expense of everybody else. Paul Ryan has people reading that in his office. Like, when you brought a staff on, I don't know if he still does it, but he used to essentially have everybody who works with him read Ayn Rand. An uber atheist. An uber capitalist. Alright. Even if you want to get into the assaults on the social safety net. I mean, it's perverse. Like, I get you get somewhat of a soft heart on by coming up with some way to take Medicare and Social Security away from people. But I don't know what that relation has to your Bible at all. In fact, the relation it has to your Bible is kind of to impeach that behavior. You would be considered moral and profane in front of your own imaginary God. That's what it boils down to. Martin Luther King, an actual Christian, an actual man of his convictions. He has a speech called Jesus Called the Man a Fool. And Martin Luther King, Jesus made this point where a guy said, look, I don't have anywhere to keep all this money. I mean, look, I got so much cash, I don't know what to do with it. And Jesus makes this point, hey, you can put it in the belly of that guy over there. I mean, he's clearly hungry, he hasn't eaten in a few days. You can put it in her house because she doesn't have a roof and it's cold and it's about to rain. Wait, what about this guy over here? He can use healthcare. There are places for you to put that money. You're making a choice that you don't want to help anybody with that money. There's a difference between those two things. That sounds like Jesus to me. Now, my mom dragged my ass to that house of mystery for years as a child. That sounds like Jesus. That's the Jesus I remember. The guy who you're talking about sounds like the other guy. The other guy. The one that tried to rebel and take over heaven. Look, Paul, you can be a greedy plutocrat. You can be a rich fuck. You can be the guy who's helping out the rich to screw over the poor even more. You can do that. But you can't also call yourself a Christian. Both of those things don't work together. They're out of harmony. And look, at some point, you're going to kick the bucket. And you better pray that there is no God. Because you're going to be spending a long time with the other guy who you've been espousing his virtues and values over the past 20-some years. You're going to bust hell wide open. I hope you go with a rabid case of syphilis. That would warm my heart. That would warm my heart. It would make me feel awesome. And then meeting your actual maker. So, go fuck yourself, dude. Go fuck yourself. Thanks, guys.